On March the 2nd, the Kuwaiti-American journalist Ahmed Shihab al-Din shared a video of an American fighter jet crash near a U.S. base in Kuwait, a reported friendly fire incident in the ongoing U.S. war with Iran. This is the video. Shihab al-Din did not take it himself. All he did was repost it on social media. This video is real. It has been verified. It happened. Shihab al-Din was visiting Kuwait. He was visiting family there, but he's also a journalist in the middle of the biggest story in the world right now, and he shared a video, admittedly a sensitive one for America's allies in the region facing Iran's retaliatory strikes, and the Kuwaiti government has detained him since. According to the Committee to Protect Journalists, authorities have charged him with spreading false information, harming national security, and misusing his mobile phone. Shihab al-Din has not been heard from since he shared that video. Weeks later, Kuwait's government passed a law which gives it further ability to crack down on reporters. It's part of a wider crackdown on freedom of expression across the Arab Gulf states during the current conflict. But let's be clear, there isn't much journalistic freedom in those states to start with. Some of them have none. The law threatens steep fines and jail time for anyone who intentionally disseminates information which could be seen as weakening confidence in military authorities. Can you imagine getting in trouble for spreading information that could be seen as weakening confidence in military authorities? Where have I seen that before? Maybe it's happening in the U.S. By the way, in other Gulf states, the strategy has been the same. Stifle information about the war, particularly videos and images of missiles and strikes, to maintain this sanitized image of safety. The Abu Dhabi police in the United Arab Emirates have arrested 400 people for filming and photographing things related to the war. Bahrain, Kuwait, and Saudi Arabia have arrested people for filming or circulating videos related to the war. The Saudi Arabian government even began a campaign in early March to warn citizens not to take and post photos, including a slogan that read, quote, "Photography serves the enemy." Photography serves the enemy. It's simply not true. Photography and journalism serve people. It's patronizing, let alone autocratic, to suggest that the public is worse off for knowing more about what's happening in and around their countries. Ahmed Shihab al-Din's career is filled with brave work. He produced an award-winning documentary on queer people in Egypt and the abuse that they suffer. He's traveled the world providing on-the-ground reporting. Yet, ironically, the reason for his detention here is not some bombshell exclusive or some prolonged investigation. The reality is actually much more worrisome. He's being detained for reposting a video, something you or I or anyone could do in a second without thinking about it. Joining me now is the veteran journalist Jason Rezaian. Jason Rezaian was the Washington Post's Tehran bureau chief from 2012 to 2016. He was unjustly imprisoned for 544 days by Iranian authorities over accusations of espionage. He was released in 2016. He's currently the director of the Washington Post's Press Freedom Initiative. Jason, my friend, it is good to see you again. There are so many stories here. The first of which is that this is widely common. This is not really a story about Kuwait. This is common in the entire region, including in Israel, by the way. They also do not offer complete freedoms of the press anymore, while they broadly suggested. And we don't have any reports out of Iran because we can't get any reports out of Iran. But Iran doesn't allow this stuff either.
Not at all. And Ali, I want to point out to you, first and foremost, Ahmed Shihab al-Din, who I've never met before, was among the many thousands of journalists around the world, including you and colleagues here in the United States and everywhere, that raised their voice for me. And I think we all have to do that in this moment. It's true that there is not anything resembling press freedom in the Middle East, neither in the Persian Gulf, on either side of the Persian Gulf, or in the Levant. But the reality is that this is a different kind of situation because of the unique relationship that the United States and Kuwait have with each other. This is one in which an American citizen is being detained without cause because he's a journalist, from what we understand. And it's a country that receives massive amounts of U.S. aid, is home to multiple U.S. military bases. So this should be a pretty easy lift for the U.S. government to resolve.
But it's not, for some reason. And there's a few issues here. One is that the United States in recent years has not had a tremendous history with doing this. And the killing of Jamal Khashoggi was a great example of the fact that Saudi Arabia seems to have a free pass on that right now. So America's lost a little bit of moral authority on this. And the second one is this this weird control of the message, which we're actually seeing in America right now, right? We're seeing this at the Pentagon, where they've said if you don't agree that you will only report things that are approved by the government, you don't get a Pentagon press pass. It's all of a sort.
100%. And I think one of the things about this war with Iran right now that is so confusing for Americans, you made the great point that there is no press inside Iran that's able to report on it. We're not really able to get a clear accounting from the U.S. government about what we're doing. Obviously, the story changes from one day to the next of where we stand in this conflict. So, yeah, I mean, it's an incredibly difficult situation, and one that people in the Middle East have come to understand well over many years. It should be new to Americans, and something that we should be pushing back against. I mean, and I think the idea that we don't really have clear visibility into what's happening in any one of these countries. And when you take Kuwait or the UAE or Saudi Arabia, countries that have sustained damage in this war alongside Iran, and people aren't able even to talk about that, it's a threat to everything that we know about living in free societies, and we're not doing anything to help it at this point.
There are sort of slightly different examples in each case. In Jamal Khashoggi's case, he was what we would call a critic of his government, but not in a bad way. He wanted his government in Saudi Arabia to do better. He was an insider critic, if you will. In your case, which they commonly do in Iran, they suggest you're a spy. In Ahmed's case, which was interesting, it wasn't, as I say, some sort of he's done some groundbreaking journalism, but this wasn't it. This was literally posting something that the government thought is bad for their look or their reputation. They all drape these things in some sort of national security blanket, and it's all BS.
All of it's BS, and it really comes down to trying to control all narratives, right? And we live in the 21st century. Smartphones are in the hands of most people around the world. I imagine that in Kuwait, the penetration of smartphones is almost 100%. How can you expect people to have these tools and to sell them these tools and not use them to document what's going on around them and then share that information? It's quite shocking to me. And I think it really foreshadows a darker near-term future for people in that region and for folks around the world.
I remind everybody about two things. When you were imprisoned in Iran, Iran was not a U.S. ally. Kuwait is a U.S. ally, and America should apply pressure. But I also remind people that as much as that was 566 days too much for you in jail, the pressure did ultimately work, so the pressure will work here.
Yes, 100%. We got to keep up the pressure for Ahmed and for the 6 Americans who are being wrongfully detained in Iran right now as well.
Jason, thanks as always. We're glad to have you. Jason Rezaian is the director of the Washington Post's Press Freedom Initiatives.